we go. Hey everybody, what's going on? It's your boy, BigLockDaddy. Turn up my mic. How y'all doing? Welcome to the BigLockDaddy Report. Glad to have you. Let's get right into it today. Welcome to the state of the state. It's time. Turn that music down a little bit. I don't know if you've been feeling it the way I've been feeling it, but I must say, it feels like this to me. Do you know what it feels like to be in a car when the wheel just comes off of it while you're driving down the road? It's happened to me twice. Driving down the road, tire starts. You feel something in the wheel, and then it lets go. What happens next? Car noses straight down. No matter how much gas you give it, it's done. It just plows into the ground, and that's it. So, everything comes to a grinding halt. Everything. Not a very positive opinion of where things are headed with this country, in my humble opinion, but call it like you see it. I mean, look what's going on right now. You have our president, Donald Trump, is in a fight with the swamp. What's the swamp? The swamp is the deep state, members in DC, an elite group of people, the elites, some people call them, in high power positions within the government, politics, and all that. And it's basically been Trump versus the deep state since he got elected. You know, look at all these Trump attacks that are still coming out, along with the Kavanaugh attacks, which Brett Kavanaugh nominated for the Supreme Court 30 years after, and Trump's on the news today talking about it. You know, pointing it out that 30 years ago, nobody said anything. For the last 30 years, nobody said anything. Yet now we have not one but two. A second one has emerged. Along with that, the whole Russian collusion thing. Trump, is he with Russia? Is Russia with us? What's going on? Is he talking to Putin? Are they buddies? And what does it turn out to be? Well, Rod Rosenstein, you all heard of him, he has resigned. So he's been called to the White House to confirm. A couple weeks ago, you may remember, he was trying to get a meeting with Trump a couple times at the White House. So, looking at all this stuff, and if you look back now, if you know where to look with this stuff, with the false claims, okay, there was okay, look back to the election, Long Island. The 19-year-old girl that made a false claim about Trump supporters breaking her windows or doing something to her car. There was a lady in Texas who said her hijab was stolen by Trump supporters. And every day, more claims pop up just like this. The Dems are trying to claim we're going to impeach him, we're going to impeach our president, but false claims, bullshit. When did this start? All these false claims, you know, just throwing it out there about somebody and saying, hey, you know, you did this. When did that start? I'm at a loss for words with this. And the phone goes. I love it. That's the wife. I'll call her back. Good times. But when did all this stuff start? That's what I'm asking you. When did this start? I don't remember just throwing claims out there and everybody jumping on a bandwagon and all of a sudden dude's guilty or not guilty. Or, to my knowledge, we had a system in this country of being innocent until proven guilty. I don't know where that went, but Maybe it's media. Maybe it's the big time corporate media. Everybody's always talking about them. Did you see those free Alex Jones? Those are interesting. The free Alex Jones. What do they call those? Rallies. They're having a free Alex Jones rally. Good luck with that. Well, I'll tell you what, though. With Trump and the swamp and the shit that's being stirred up in D.C., I got to tell you. You can see it coming. You can almost... It's almost like there's a... they're giving you, right off the hop, they're giving you right there the playbook. If you've ever heard of 8chan, or the QAnon phenomenon, as I like to call it, it's fun. I usually hook up with it through, the X22 Report is a great YouTube channel. He's a lot of fun. He's got a lot of good stuff going on there, and if you ever get a chance to check it out, head on over and check out the X22 Report, and you'll get a nice little education into. He does a nightly show, 6 nights a week. He does 2 shows a night, and then on the 7th day he rests. No, he doesn't. No, that's not what it is. He on the 7th day he just does one quick little episode, wrapping everything for the week up, or an interview. Sometimes he puts out interviews. If you don't know who Dave at the X22 Report is, go check him out. He's good stuff. Good guy right there. But what I'm looking for right now should need no introduction. I don't know if you know or have heard of Q, or who Q is, but the QAnon phenomenon popped up on, which is basically a website devoted to anonymous people talking to each other, posting whatever they want, and they came up with a way to do this, and you can go check it out for yourself. I'm going to put a link in the description and a doodly-doo down below after the broadcast. We'll get to that, but definitely head over to that and check it out. It's fun to read the posts and then a couple days later watch what happens. It's not bullshit. I mean, if you look at what the New York Times is saying and what everybody's saying out there about what these things do, what's going on in the QAnon chats, they had a Reddit thread that I believe just got shut down fairly recently, and they were talking. There was a whole lot of this. They wanted. I'm not sure if you heard about Donald Trump's national message that he's sending out all over the country, like directly from his phone or some shit like that. Which would be really cool, but that was supposed to coincide with the Kavanaugh confirmation hearing with the Senate, and it got pushed back. Got pushed back to October. Supposed to be the 17th to the 20th. 17th was Constitution Day. Who knows what the real plan is there, man? Who knows? All I know is I've seen changes in Washington, D.C. I've seen changes in government. I've seen different kind of politics being played. I know a lot of the senators, a lot of the representatives, a lot of people are really flipping their seats over. The guys that were there are getting out because the new sheriff's come to town. And if you want to know what the next move is, get on this Q thing. I don't know who Q is, but it's it's Q level security clearance for nuclear football, nuclear secrets, stuff like that. And if you look at the information you're being given in these posts and chats, how could whoever Q is not be as close to the president? That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. If you're curious about it, head over there and check it out at 8chan. 8chan.com, or is it 8chan.net? I'll throw the link up down there and down near below. And you know what? On top of all this, all the politicking, all the bullshitting, all the bad stuff that we got going on in the world today, we have a looming financial crisis. Yeah. A looming financial crisis. Cryptos. We all know about that. I cut my teeth in this, doing crypto videos, pack coins, stuff like that. As far as the cryptos go, in the next financial crisis, the herd is definitely going to be thinned down. There is going to be safety, no doubt. Obviously, assets, gold, silver, cryptos will probably be your best bet. In my mind, if I'm looking for something, I'm thinking those things. This Keynesian economic system we're in, this latest experiment we're in, the fiat dollar, just seems like it's about to die. You know, if you look back through the course of history and all the monetary systems that have been, the gold-backed dollar, the this-backed dollar, you know, all the way back through time, you know, gold and silver, it's in the Bible. I always say it, it's in the Bible. Can't go wrong with it. So you gotta get on it. You gotta get on it. It's in the Bible. I don't know if that's supposed to be a selling point, maybe?
Go to hell!
No, not that. But seriously, you know, I look at Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Ripple, although Ripple I'm really, really skeptical about, just because it is tied to the banking system. You know, I think I do expect those to survive, along with the gold and silver. Second gen, third gen cryptos, depending on your use case, I don't know. I don't know if those will survive. That's why I kind of backpedaled on the whole hack thing. But they're making great strides. I'm not bashing them at all. They're making great strides. It's a real grassroots movement. Jesus, I can't get the tongue going today. But, you know how it is with any financial crisis. I mean, if you sit there and look at the news this morning, turn on the news this morning, and turn on the news, you know, go back to, you know, any day in the preceding month before 2008, you know, well, this time in 2008, exactly 10 years ago. See if you're not seeing the same stuff. You know what I mean? Those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And I don't want to repeat it, but it looks like we're gonna. So buckle up, Buttercup. Hang on for the ride, because it's gonna get bumpy. Just be prepared. Be prepared. That's the only thing I can tell you to do. You see back here behind me? Doesn't mean I'm fully prepared, but I've got preparations. So, it is what it is there. The looming crisis is not just going to be financial, I believe. If I'm really... There's three major aspects of this that you really got to... you really got to take a look at. War, because that's been touted forever. People have been talking about war, going to war. War with North Korea, war with... See that Russia TV, the Russia television, RT? They put up this morning a bunch of clips. So somebody put a little rap together with a bunch of Donald Trump clips. It was kind of cute, but you could tell the clips were old. But people just look at this shit and they think, that's new. It's like, are you a fucking idiot? Really? Really? Are you paying attention to what's going on? Or do you just look in like one area and be like, that's it? That's all I see. It doesn't matter everything else that's around. Like, that's all I see. Makes no sense. Makes no friggin' sense. Just because I see it, it doesn't exist? No. Folks, I don't know if you can see it. Winter's coming. You know what I mean? Winter's coming. It is. Get prepared. It's how the old timers used to do it, man. They used to have to chop wood, go out and kill a bunch of animals, freeze and cure meat, and do all that crap. We got lazy. Way, way lazy. And now war. You look at what's going on in the Middle East. Israel, Turkey, Syria, that whole freaking shebangle. And who knows what's going to happen? We could start there, a small little proxy war could spill into a big one. Or, that's just a sideshow. I don't think the war is going to go anywhere. I think it's just people playing guns in the sand over oil. And that's not good, because these are people's lives. There's people that actually live over there. That's their home. Why do we have such a migrant crisis right now? I'm not saying we, although I think we do. I think England does. I think Europe does. I think all this bullshit that's gone on over the years of just starting wars over oil and all this other shit is just finally gone, man. So, what do you want? This is people's lives you're playing with. But at the end of the day, it's all about the bottom line, right there, Deep State? Right. Right. War. Civil war. You hear, oh, could there be a new civil war? There could be. There could be a war at any point in time. And that's the bitch about it. Okay? Think of the Revolutionary War, 1776, right? Bunch of people came over here, early 1700, from 1492, whatever, and lived for a couple hundred years under some tyranny and some bullshit, and then said, hey, guess what? I'm done. Stood up, formed their own government, and now we have our own government to thank for this. The people, government should be accountable to its people, not the other way around. That's the way it was created. Period. End of story. You're working for us. Like, that's the thing I keep going back to is as I choke on my own spooge McNooge. Ooh, good lord. I'm gonna wet the whistle. That's what I keep going back to. That's the way the government was created. It was created for the people. But not to govern the people, but as a way to govern themselves, and it's just gotten too big. It's gotten too big, and the power's gotten too expansive. Now it's all over the place. Now it's, the government does this, the government does that. Everybody needs help from the government. What happens if the world goes to shit? The government will save you. Will they? They'll try. Some will try. There's a lot of good, hardworking people that work for government agencies. There's patriots in the government, and they're doing their thing. They know their role, and they know it's out of control right now. And I'll tell you, with all this Q stuff going on, and the war, there could be a war. Maybe there won't be a war. Who the hell knows? Because now it's not like any other point in time. Desert Storm, all that stuff. We knew we were going to war. Man, they put that crap on. Oh, yeah. They knew we were going to war. There you go. How do you like me now? They knew we were going to war in Desert Storm, Desert Shield, all that stuff. Like, they were ready to ramp it up right out of the gate. I remember sitting around, like my dad, my stepmom were on the couch. I was on another couch. We all had pizza. Watching CNN, waiting for the war to start. It's sick. This was in the 90s. This is 1991 we're talking. Waiting for the war to start. The United States has a whole bunch of new weapons, and oh, we haven't tested them yet. Let's see what happens. Well, that's where it starts. And then you see how well that went. Then 2003 comes along. We do it again. We go back to Iraq and get crazy. That's not to say we didn't go some other places there. Bosnia. We went over there. I tell you, people, I just don't know. I just don't know. We knew that was coming. We knew those wars were coming. Once they started to kick off, there was no way to say, no, it's not coming. People knew. Now, you don't know what's coming. You have no idea what's coming because there's a leader at the top of the chain that you just don't know. And I think that's a good thing for this country. I think the wrong people have been in control for too long, so that's just my point of view. That's how I feel. People call me crazy. Is what it is. I'm just giving you my point of view. I want to see this country become great again. You know what I mean? I think the country, it's not that it's not great or it lost its greatness. It's just that things changed along the way somewhere. Somewhere things didn't go quite right. Maybe this one has something to do with it. I don't know. Really? You don't know? Don't say that to yourself. You know. Look up at old Bernie here and tell me you don't know. Yeah, she had something to do with it. We may end up in a war. It's not. I don't think it's going to be as extreme as everybody else thinks. You know, we're going to get invaded. I don't think so. That'd be the dumbest thing ever. I don't care what country or countries you are. You try and invade this country, you're in for a surprise. You are in for a surprise. We've done battle on these. We've done battle on these grounds before. They'll do it again. If need be. If another country, if they like that movie Red Dawn that came out a bunch of years ago, if that ever happened, you get Red Dawned. It'd be crazy. I don't know. We'll see what happens with the wars, but keep an eye open. You never know. The other crisis, money, credit, housing, auto, banks in general, the Fed. We may get an audit of the Fed. That would be interesting. Now, here's one of the other things I started to talk about in another video, and I wanted to come back to it because it's the Sallie Mae thing. Because I got another freaking thing in the mail for it. Like, they're just pumping out so much mail trying to get people to take these loans. Take these loans. Here, take a Sallie Mae. Crazy. Don't go for it. Don't take the bait. Don't. This is a chance for someone to grab at your money. Do not take the bait. The Sallie Mae money is going to screw you. Like I said, I have a friend. She has literally $30,000 in credit card debts. And just works to pay and make it through. I don't know how much credit she actually has. I really don't. I haven't talked to her that much. But it's crazy. And that's what a lot of people are doing. That's what a lot of people are doing. And once you start doing it, it's hard to get out of. And I'll tell you, if you take those Sallie Mae loans and you try and claim bankruptcy, you're going to find you have a different... That's not going to go the way you plan. So try and make sure you really do your homework. When you see people throwing money at you, you got to be careful with it. That's all I'm saying, all right? But a credit crisis, a housing crisis, an auto crisis, they're all anytime now. Maybe. We'll see. War, huh? Race war, class war, money versus race versus class equals chaos. I just like to give it a little push in the right direction.
I hate you all so much!
You know what I mean? You got to look at where it's starting. Who's pushing? Where's it coming from? I don't know. But I know this. People's inability to deal, like I think Paul Joseph Watson had he did a video about emotional incontinence. And that's a really, really big thing today. Emotional incontinence. Not knowing how to deal, not having the coping mechanisms or knowing how to deal with extreme stress in one's own life. I can tell you right there, I've been through enough stress in my life that I've had to test every single coping mechanism that I have. Every one that I have. Sometimes you fail. Sometimes you succeed. So you gotta stick at it and see what works for you, because you just never know at the end of the day what's gonna happen. You know, when you wake up tomorrow morning, all your house could be gone, your money could be gone, your life could be gone. Then you won't wake up tomorrow morning. But the bottom line still remains. Things can change at the drop of a hat. And a lot of people use money and race and your class status. Are you high class, middle class, low class, no class, like me? I don't give a shit. Think of me what you love, who I am. You know what I mean? I bring it. I'll bring it. I do what I do. I hope you like it. There's at least 2 of you watching. I see that. And I'm also on Spreaker right now as well. And this dopey bitch. If you're listening on Spreaker, or you're listening to the podcast, head on over to the YouTube channel. Check out what I'm talking about. We're talking about money versus race versus class equaling chaos. I think the Trump thing has been really good for this country. I think him getting in as president was really, really good. I think it surprised a lot of people. I think it changed a lot of things in this country. I know my own mom, whom I have to call after I'm finished with my podcast. Call your mother. My own mother says, I didn't really like him before, but I can't deny what he's done for this country so far. Your mother says that. You take notice. You take notice. I love that woman. She's awesome. And she's right, though. She is right. There's no doubt about it. So, with that being said, money versus race versus class equals chaos. Trump's here. It's going down for real. Also, we have some other things coming up here. You've seen, like I was talking about, this housing market, the housing property crisis we're having here. In some areas, prices are still going up. However, interest rates are still going up. It's setting up for, low class can't afford a house. They're pissed. They got no money. They're mad at the high class, but who can you take your high class shit out on now? They're all running all over the other place to go here, there, and everywhere. So it's like a big old freaking clusterfuck. And then you just look in the news and you see what's going on in certain areas. Just watch your news. Watch your local news. Does it look like people are going crazy? I started this whole podcast with the idea of the state of the states, and I've thrown a lot of information out there. And I think what I see is a slow turn going on in the states here today. I think at one point in time we saw a new one world system being installed rapidly, as quick as they could go, just to get it in, and that would only benefit the most wealthy, the top percentages. Now we see it's different. There's a populist rise. The elite, the top 1%, took their shot, and they're not done by any means yet. Okay? They're not done by any means. However, in the one area they really needed to get, which was the election with Hillary, they didn't get it. The populist vote won out. Despite everything being contrary to popular belief, there's no way he can win. No way he can win. Well, this country's geared towards nationalism now. And I can tell you this. It's not going anywhere anytime soon as far as that feeling of nationalism. The focus shift of turning the U.S. from a third world nation as opposed to lifting the rest of the world up. That's the whole thing I'm talking about here. That's the whole point I'm making. Whereas once things were being taken out of the country, we've sold off resources. A lot of the country's owned by Chinese mega companies that have put money and own debt over here in hopes of a debt crisis in which we'd have to figure out a way to pay off the people who are holding our debt. What, you're just going to default and it goes nowhere? What happens when someone else from another country holds that debt? Danger, Will Robinson. Times they are a-changing. The United States is pioneering the true movement. Russia may be on track. I don't think China is. I think the U.S. is the example, however. That meaning, I think we're trying to go in the right direction as far as what is truly best for the people, your fellow man. And I think that comes back to a lot of it. When you're looking at something that's going on in your home, it's easy to get consumed in that. Or looking at something that's going on outside the window or in your town, your city, your state. But nobody can deny, when you look at the world as a whole, it seems pretty friggin' big. It's pretty friggin' big. There's a lot of, and to me, I say every living being knows the difference between good and bad, right and wrong, good and evil. Now it's the question of whether you follow it, do you not follow it, do you do what you want, take what you need, leave the rest? Hard to gauge. Really hard to gauge. And I think that's where some things get caught in the middle here. You know, it's like you go to La La Land. Holy hell, where am I? This magical place where things just, whatever. I don't know. But we're pioneering the true movement. This is where it's real. This is, you need to have certain things that are real. You need to have the real people operating in a real way in a real world, and not trying to take control of a narrative constantly and just say, this is the way it is, screw off, you're done. We're doing what we want, and screw you if you don't like it, we're going to do it anyway. That just... that drives me nuts. Passing legislation. Taking people's rights away. You can't take people's God-given rights away. You can hold them down. You can try. With the United States, it comes down to the state of the people. No doubt. No doubt. We are strong. Our numbers, we're strong. 300 million? That's a strong number. Very strong number. What? China's got 1.3 billion. Whatever. One-child policies really got them screwed. You've got an equally proportionate amount. I mean, all the way through. You know what I mean? It's tough. It's tough. Looking at it like that, like, can you sit there and actually plan it out? Like you go, okay, they got 1.3 billion, but I got 300 million. Okay, but my 300 million are badass money. Like, how do you do that? Like, it's, what is this, fantasy football? And you're sitting here trying to friggin' China versus United States. It's going to be on. Well, you know, China's got the numbers, but the United States, they got the guns. I mean, what do you do? Is this Monday Night Football? Oh, that would be interesting. Monday Night War. WWE pioneered it. United States Army's going to take it. That'd be interesting, but you know you'd watch. Either way, we are strong as a people. Don't fuck with us. We will work together. Guaranteed. If you lived here, you were born here, you were raised here, if somebody comes and tries to fuck that up, you'll work together. Guaranteed. I like this. From all the Q posts and whatnot, where we go one, we go all. That's true. That's true. Especially with the right one. Does that mean our fearless leader, Donald Trump? Well, I tend to think so. I think wherever he goes, we go. Because he's our outside link to the world, man, at this point. And I think the position of president finally has significance and meaning again. Let me say that again. The position of president of the United States has position and meaning again. Donald Trump brought that back. I was not his biggest fan before this election. I even recalled saying the words out loud, and I can't believe I'm going to tell you this. When it first came out that he was going to run, I'm like, no way. I can't vote for Hillary Clinton. I just can't do that. I mean, full disclosure, I'll tell you this. I've actually shook Hillary Clinton's hand. Her fucking raptor claw. I shook her hand one time when she was a state senator in New York, before all that bullshit. Actually, it was probably 2008. Believe it or not. Shook her hand. Felt like I was shaking hands with the eagle. I stole that one from Kevin James, but it's true. She had cold hands. Tiny woman. Tiny woman. Shaking hands with evil. It was weird. Really weird. Is somebody calling me again? Anyway, you know what I mean? Where we go one, we go all. And I think that we proved that one with the election, and we continue to prove that today. And there is no greater force than the united American people. All of us. All of us. United. United States. USA number one. USA number one. China number two. Hey, that's true. China number two. China number two. You would like the poo-poo? And then as a little side note, before I get out of here, I'm just going to hit this topic really quick. This podcast went a lot faster than I thought. Had a lot of information, didn't organize well. Should happen. Hopefully. I'm going to jam as much info in here as I can. You know. Yeehaw. Oh, the other thing I wanted to talk about, the weather. Yeah, the weather. Not just the weather. I've been seeing a lot of, I like watching volcanoes, earthquakes, all that type of stuff. Yellowstone. Anybody watching that? Interesting news lately. There's been an eruption in Congress. They call it Congress Pool. There's an eruption in Congress Pool. First time in freaking long time. The one thing I found, I watch Mary Greeley's videos. She's another YouTuber. And for this reason and this reason alone, she's really good when it comes to volcanoes. Outside of that, I don't really know what to do with her. You know, seismic stuff and all that USGS stuff is really good. And thank you, Mary. I love your videos. They are great. But that's I'm very specific to that. I don't really. There's other stuff going on. You start talking about like world events and stuff like that, and that's cool. You do you. I'm doing me. We're doing ourselves. Can you tell I'm not used to being on camera? I'm still, folks. Work with me here. All right. Just learn how to